All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we are going to talk about something that some experts are saying about Terence Crawford after his destruction of ERROL Spence Jr. in their fight that took place this evening or yesterday evening by the time that you watch this video. And that is that he is on the level of some fighters that we have not talked or seen in the ring in a while. And I got to tell you, man, every once in a while, dude, I see something in boxing that where you learn and you see and you recognize things. I've seen something that I saw in Terence Crawford last night that I had not seen in a while, but I've seen from some other fighters that were terrific. But the question is he really a Mayweather Jr. level fighter? Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division, where we now have a new king of boxing, at least in my opinion, and that is Terence Bud Crawford, who knocked out ERROL Spence Jr. in 9 rounds in their fight that they had in Las Vegas. Quite sure it was a very, very big pay-per-view show. So Terence Crawford really showed out on the biggest stage in boxing. And as a result, he is going to get all of the accolades, the compliments, and the praise that he deserves for an absolutely positively stellar career and a guy that is just, you know, on a different level as a fighter. Lou DiBella, who was a promoter for DiBella Promotions, for DiBella Entertainment rather, made some statements about Terence Crawford, and he said that Terence Crawford and Monster Inoue are #1 and #2 pound for pound, and there's a big gap between the people behind, you know, after that. And I did a video before where I talked about this. But before I get into the details of it, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter for the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. All right, look, gotta say thank you to the sponsor of this video, Boxing Showtime's app, and I want to introduce you to this really great app for hardcore boxing fans that want to know everything that's going on in boxing. It's a very accessible app right in your hands that you are able to see all of the upcoming fights, that are around your neighborhood, the ones that are going on at bars near you, boxing updates, boxing news, boxing profiles, tales of the tape, boxing tickets, official highlights, official replays. You got a dark mode if that's how you like to look at your screen, a bar locator, everything that you need to be to allow you the most access possible and information possible for the sport that we love. Also, there's a promotional code that you can use, Fanon that will allow you to have access to the premium features of the app, as well as a 14-day trial for the premium features of that app. Very inexpensive monthly fee. So make sure you guys go check that out. It does support the channel. Thank you. Terence Crawford, for a long time, I had him as my #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. I moved him off the #1 pound for pound fight because I believed, based on the stuff that I was hearing and saw, that Terence Crawford did not want to fight ERROL Spence Jr. For the Undisputed Championship. ERROL Spence Jr., even though he had a long time off, was still a top fighter in my opinion after his win over Yordenis Ugas. So I had ERROL at #1. I had Terence #2. Terence Crawford beats ERROL Spence Jr. And I'm telling you, man, I just beat him. Like the way that people said, the people that talked about the fight and how the fight would go, that said Terence would beat ERROL. I think even the people that were most adamant about it understated what really kind of went down in that fight. Now, I have some ideas about ERROL and what was going on with ERROL that I think contributed a little bit to that. But the question that Luda Bella brought up and talking about him, dude, Terence Crawford being one of the greatest fighters of this century and all the way back to the 1980s. Watching Terence Crawford fight, there's nothing in the fight that he did with Errol Spence, who I think very highly of as a fighter. I would put him up there with Sugar Ray Leonard. I'll put him up there with Tommy Hearns. I put him up there with Roberto Duran. Put him up there with Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And honestly, man, I put him up there with Floyd Mayweather Jr. And I put him up there with Andre Ward. And the fighters that I've seen in my time as somebody that has been watching fighters that is just really, really impressed with. And I think the thing that, for me, that Terence Crawford did in that fight with Errol Spence is he just showed that he really could fight on the inside. At mid-range, he could fight it. I knew he could fight at long range, knew he could fight at mid-range. Thought Errol would have the advantage on the inside. Errol did not have an advantage on the inside. Terence Crawford walked him down, got on the inside with him, and on the inside was blocking and parrying everything that he had and wind up causing Errol Spence a lot of problems on the inside. So though I know that, the Floyd Mayweather Jr., it is absolute best that I've seen Floyd Mayweather Jr. was at 130 pounds. I'll tell you, man, I think that Floyd Mayweather did Terence Crawford. It is not an overestimate to say that Terence Crawford is on the same level of fighter as those guys are. Whether or not I would agree with the proposition that some people are out there that are saying that he's as good or better than Floyd, again, I don't really even think you can really do that, to be honest, because it just depends on who you fight, right? But Terence Crawford has cleared out 140-pound division and the people that were there. He's now cleared out the 147-pound division. And where I was on Jaron Ennis, who I think is a very, very good fighter, bro, I don't know really if Jaron Ennis is ready for Terence Crawford. That may be a very, very tough fight. And honestly, man, I thought Jaron Ennis would be a really bad matchup for him, but I think I changed my mind on that. Just seeing off how Terence can fight on the inside and how really strong he is at 147 pounds, man. Errol, to me, in that particular fight, looked, and I made a comment about it before, and I kind of noticed, I was like, his weight isn't changing. Like, from the way that he looked in the press conference to how you saw him when he was at the weigh-in to when he walked into the fight, there was no noticeable size difference between them. He just looked, I think he probably was very, very dried out, and that probably exacerbated the problem and the fact that he had so much time off. But I mean, I just think even watching how the skill that was displayed by Terence just had different levels to his game that Errol Spence Jr. did not have. So, man, he's just a terrific, terrific, terrific fighter. And Floyd Mayweather Jr. is also like that too. And I had said that in the lead-in. I mean, in the lead into the fight that I had seen Errol Spence, I had seen Floyd Mayweather Jr. when he got a little older and he wasn't moving around as much, started seeing him fight on the inside, making people miss, counter him, landing big shots. And that's exactly what Terence Crawford did to Errol Spence in that particular fight. So it was like, showed me another level of his game that I did not know was there. But at the same time, didn't know it was there because I hadn't seen it. But, just like I had mentioned before, like when Errol would say, that there's a lot of smoke and mirrors at Top Rank, a lot of smoke and mirrors, man, I would always say it. And I still maintain, just because there's a lot of smoke and mirrors don't mean that there's not a dragon in the middle of it. There's a dragon. If there's a dragon in the middle of it, all them smoke and mirrors may make it work, may make things confusing on you when you get there. And that's exactly what it wound up being. There's a dragon in the middle of that smoke and mirrors. But we'll wind up seeing, man, if depending on how much longer he fights, I don't think he's going to fight. I don't think Errol Spence Jr. is going to fight him in that rematch. I don't like that rematch for Errol Spence. I think that is just a really bad, unless he can get that fight at 154 pounds, and he really is able to not have to squeeze down. But even then, at 154 pounds, that would be a lot of difficulty. Also, Terence Crawford would be definitely a world of problems too. Also for Jermell Charlo, even if it's that, but there's a much bigger size thing going on there. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. That's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuce.